Hello there, YouTubers. This is Gus Astasia. I'm on a bit of a lunch break here, and I just wanted I was it this Saturday? We just did a program with REO Ministries, and there's a lot of stuff that happened this weekend. This weekend was the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society's annual meeting, and I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the stuff featured on Mike and Kim's page, which we just owe a lot to Mike and Kim and really keeping up to speed on all of this stuff. I mean, the YouTube community has done a fantastic job. Rick Farron, week in, week out, every Saturday with the Six Screens teleconference, telenetwork. It's just, it's really, really hard to be consistent. It's really hard to consistently stay on this type of stuff. And we've come such a long way since Bill and Joan Setner, a Bethel couple, and the days of Edmund Gruss and Charles Trombley. And a lot of you YouTubers, activists, really don't know who I'm talking about. And some of you do, but these are the guys who pioneered all this stuff. And who would think that we would come to this point? And what I mean by this point is the cat is under the bed, and or the dog is under the bed. And what I mean by that is, I just lost a cat almost a year ago. And what does a cat or a dog do when they know they're going to die? They retreat. They go into solitude. They get away from the public. They go under the bed, and they make preparation to die. And it's interesting. It's an interesting thing to witness an animal do that. An animal that is conscious of its own death and conscious that it doesn't have much longer to go, and it really doesn't want to be bothered. It really wants to retreat. It doesn't want to bother anyone, and it's ready to die. And it's an almost human thing to see animals do this, and it's one of the reasons why I really believe that pets and animals do have souls. But that's a whole nother issue. I really want to talk about the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and what's happened in the last year, to 2 years. The things that you guys have done, things people like me have done also, but to a greater extent, the things that Rick Farron, the things that you guys at the Fast Apostate Hour, Eric, and all of you guys have done, including the reluctant apostate, as reluctant as he is, Mr. Cedars, Mr. Lloyd, the things that you guys have done have really caused the cat to go under the bed. And for years, Rick has been talking about it. The last days of the Watchtower, and this year, the last 2 years specifically, but this year in particular, we have seen the death knoll of the Watchtower Society, and we are seeing it right now before our very eyes. They're done. They are in retreat. Mike and Kim, they tried to go ahead and test you guys, but you called their bluff, and they went back into retreat mode. And they're in retreat. They're selling property like crazy. I hate to say it, but this is kind of like the election. I knew Trump was going to win because you could see the numbers that he had when he was having gatherings in cities. He was selling out arenas. And I said it myself. I was expecting Hillary to win. I was buying into the propaganda and the polls that she was going to win, that somehow they were going to cheat and she was going to get it, because the only way they could do it is if she cheated. Because there was no way, by what we were seeing on social media, and kudos to the president and his use of social media, which is probably what won him the election. He was ahead, technologically speaking, than his opponent, and remains in touch with his base. But Uh, I mean, we have seen now through my man Kevin Bunker, through Tony Balchin when he went and made that toast to the generation of 1914, or the generation, the overlapping generation. We have seen now the battle go into the kingdom halls. And what we have seen inside the kingdom halls has been really telling, hasn't it? It's been really telling. The halls are empty. The conventions are half empty. And this isn't a joke. What we're seeing is believing. We know that after this annual meeting that they had, where they are now eradicating the yearbook, that the statistics, they've been fibbing. They've been fibbing on the stats, and they know it, and they can't hide anymore. We've exposed the stats. Maybe they might have on the books 8 million members, but 8 million members aren't at the halls. They're definitely not at the assemblies in the halls. I would say, if the stats about disfellowshippings and disassociations are keeping up to pace, between 60,000 to 120,000 people out the back door every year, I would say maybe they do have 8 million members, but maybe 4 to 5 million are inactive. I'm talking about people just not going out in service anymore. There's no reason to. They don't have a date. They don't even have the push to go ahead and really engage you anymore. The whole kickstand with the pamphlets thing at the malls and at corners has brought the witnesses into a deeper sleep. They don't want to engage anybody. They don't want to talk to you. They want to avoid you. And I've always known witnesses when I was growing up that really just did not want to knock on doors. They really didn't. And I was the opposite. I was the guy who was, talkative, the gift of gab, the guy who has the gift of gab and jab, and I'm still that guy. That's why I do the internet podcast radio. I'm still the guy who can talk a lot. And I remember the witnesses say, "You can have all the doors if you want it," And every now and then I'd give them a door, and I'd talk to people at the doors. I had no problem with it. I'd be at street work. I'd be the first person to engage people instead of just standing there like a magazine rack, like the ones that they have now. A lot of witnesses did street work. They would just stand in front of the 7-Elevens and the convenience stores with the magazines, just right there on their chest, like I'll say, kind of like this. They're like on their chest and just looking around, stupid, goofy at people, hoping that the magazines would sell themselves by the title it had, and really not engage anyone. Most witnesses did not want to engage people, and now that they have done this magazine stand, and they have actually told witnesses to let people come to them, the ones that are doing the magazine stands don't want to talk to people. And they have now pushed the agenda of just be a zombie. They have created an organization of zombies, and we're seeing it now. They reduced the magazines from 2 Watchtowers a month and 2 Awakes a month. Remember the 8th and the 22nd, and the 1st and the 15th. The Awake magazine would come out the 8th and the 22nd, and the Watchtower would be on the 1st and the 15th. To 6 times a year and 16 pages instead of 32. And now, folks, 3 Watchtowers a year and 3 Awakes at 16 pages. That is a surrender. That is when a company says, we're going bankrupt, we're going to have a clearance. They are on their clearance sale. They're selling their halls. They don't care about publishing the literature anymore. They don't care about pushing the witnesses to engage people. They know that the pedophilia issue is coming to bite them, and they are getting cash. That's what they're doing. They sold all their property in New York at the headquarters. They sold the Dumbo buildings. They built this palatial place in Warwick where they just have just enough people to have a personal chef to cook nice dinners and lunches and breakfasts for the governing body and whoever's on their 3 or 4 committees there. It's like having their cabinet. The cabinet is getting taken care of. All the secretaries and assistant secretaries are getting, you got free rent, nice tennis courts, nice indoor pool. Warwick is a retirement luxury condominium for the governing body and their buddies, whoever's on those committees, to now finally just enjoy life in a luxurious way. I mean, you got Samuel Hurd wearing $10,000 Rolex watches. Come on. I'm sure they got nice cars, or they even got drivers. They might even have drivers. They get to take their own first class trips to wherever they want to go. They're rock stars. They're on TV. The halls that they have those JW.org. So the production companies there, they get up, put on their slippers, and go right in on camera if they wanted to. Everything's done for them. They have a small staff. They have very little cost now for the group of them because they're selling it all. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of property. They're cashing in their assets. Their assets are being cashed in so that they can afford to pay off all the accusations and still live in the lap of luxury. And they're in retreat mode. You know they're in retreat mode when a little YouTube ministry or YouTube channel they back down from. They're little dogs with lots of bark and no bite. And they know it. They know it. They keep pushing the money agenda. And I think they realize now that they're no longer going to grow statistically. They're in the red. They're going to now just be in the minus, and that's what they're afraid of, which is why they had to end the yearbook, because they are in the negative. They know it, and probably last year was a huge negative for them. We can see it. Look at the halls. No one's doing service anymore. No one's even showing up for the meetings. They got kids playing Kingdom Hall. One of those videos, they had a bunch of kids playing Kingdom Hall. I had a little girl handling the mics. That would have never happened in my day. So yes, the cat and the dog is under the bed and they're waiting to die. And we're seeing it. The last days of the Watchtower, Rick. Kudos to you, Rick. Kudos to all of you guys who have been fighting this fight. We're seeing it. And on November 5th is when we're gonna blast our 7 trumpets. Right? we're gonna do our Jericho walk, huh? We're gonna go just like Jericho. We're gonna blast our trumpets and walk around Warwick and watch the walls come down, because the walls are coming down now, folks. We see it. And it's going to be a couple years, but they're going to disappear. They're going to become, from the very big worldwide cult that they've been, to a very, very small group in comparison to what they were really looking forward to. I mean, they're already saying it. The kingdom work is done. You know, even though they haven't entered some countries, one of the brothers said, well, that doesn't mean that the literature is not in those countries. It's such a cop-out. It's a cop-out They've already raised the white flag. When they start saying the kingdom work has been done, they've raised the white flag. They've given up. I mean, now the only thing that I'm afraid of is if this cult takes that Jim Jones turn. They have every reason to do it. They can do it. Or maybe they're just going to keep their constituency going. If they can keep witnesses in there and maybe just by birth rate stay alive with at least 1 million or 2 million members, which is what they would probably stay at this rate, just giving birth rate 1 million or 2 million members. They could probably stick around, but I don't think that they can even stay at 1 million or 2. The fact is, the word is getting around. YouTube, the internet, has destroyed them. The publicity. And we haven't even gotten the publicity that Scientology has gotten. But it's only going to keep on. The publicity of social media is a killer. It can destroy your career, or it can take you up a mountain. That's the threat of social media. If anybody knows about that, the current president does. He became president because of social media. Social media is what defeated his opponent. Didn't have to spend a whole lot of TV money. TV doesn't sell anymore. I mean, most people don't even watch commercials anymore. You got Android boxes, you got DVR. That's what the NFL is finding out now. That, they're having a losing battle now because they're going up against social media. The word is spreading about the NFL in a bad kind of way, and it ain't on TV. It's on social media. They can't control that. They can't control social media. This is where people converse and talk about stuff, and we get to the bottom of it. So it's 17 minutes in. I just wanted to really say, congratulations, vast apostate army. We took a term that they use as derogatory, and we wear it as a badge of honor, because we know that apostate, we're not apostates in a biblical sense. We're not. Now, some of us are. Some of us are apostates in a biblical sense. But when it comes to the Jehovah's Witnesses, to this cult, apostate is something you wear with a badge of honor. Yes, I am in the vast apostate army. We have a program called the Vast Apostate Hour. You guys, the Vast Apostate Hour. And some people are reluctant apostates, unfortunately. But that's the worst title of a book. Lloyd, you should burn that title. That was awful. Awful. Anyway, yeah, even old Lloyd and his reluctant apostasy has done damage. So congratulations, you guys. The dog is near dead. The dog is under the bed. It's now just time to take him to the vet and put him out of his misery. And we're going to be trying to do that November 5th. I hope I see some of you guys. I'm going to be going there. It's my first protest. And go ahead and support. They still, I think they haven't reached their goal of $3,000, but go ahead and support the GoFundMe page for the Vast Apostate Hour that they've set up for this campaign. They're sending out postcards today, I heard, or was it yesterday? And keep up the work. Keep up the good work. And I will keep up the ministry. And that's one thing I'm going to say is whether the tower goes down or not, ministry is still important. I will keep up my activism against the devil while you guys keep your activism against one group of the devil. So God bless everyone. Bye-bye.